Alrighty, it is 10 o'clock. So I think we'll go ahead and start letting folks in because I think folks will start to trickle in slowly.
Great.
Or we could wait a minute because right now we're at 7 in the waiting room, but I know folks like to come in at 1 minute after, 2 minute after. So,
Mm.
you know what? For time, let's just start right away. And then as folks trickle in, we'll let them into the waiting room.
Sounds
Okay,
great.
perfect. Okay, we'll go right ahead. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Just allow folks to get settled in, turn your camera on. Perfect. I hope everybody's doing well today. Welcome to today's workshop and happy Small Business Week. We're so excited to be hosting our guest speaker today. And I'll just start off with a little bit of an introduction. For those who are not familiar, my name is Amajella McKelvey, and I'm the program coordinator here at the Innovation Cluster. And we are truly thrilled to welcome you all today to this workshop. This session is hosted by the Innovation Cluster as part of Small Business Week, where we bring together founders and entrepreneurs to learn, connect, and to grow. So, for those who aren't familiar with the Innovation Cluster, we're a nonprofit organization that supports entrepreneurs in that are working in innovation. And we do this by offering advisory services, tailored programming, access to experts, and to workshops like this. If you have an innovative idea or a startup working in technology, we encourage you to apply and to get involved with our community. We host a number of events like these all the time throughout the year, and we'd love to connect with you. Now, today's workshop will give you a high level overview of what it really takes to transition from founder to CEO. You'll gain insights into the mindset shifts, leadership skills, and strategic approaches needed to lead with clarity, confidence, and impact as you scale your business. And so, just a few housekeeping rules before I pass it off. Like I mentioned before, we encourage you to keep your cameras on as it really helps the session be more interactive and more of a human experience. We'll be monitoring the chat throughout the workshop. So feel free to drop your questions in the chat. And then a copy of the slides and the recording of the workshop will be shared with you via email after the session. And then at the end, we'll also do a bit of a quick survey. So it'll only take a minute to complete, but your feedback is really valuable in helping us to improve our events. And so now it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Joanna Kirk, who is the founder and CEO of Kirk Leadership, an internationally certified executive coach with more than 25 years of experience helping leaders and organizations thrive. She partners with executives to enhance leadership capabilities, build influence, and navigate growth and complexity with confidence. So, with that, I'll hand it over to Joanna. Thank you so much. We're very excited for today's workshop.
Thank you so much, Anne, for having me here. It's an absolute honor and pleasure to be here to support the founders and CEOs who are making Canada truly great. So, yes, I am among you. I am a founder and now CEO of my company called Kirk Leadership. And today we're going to be talking about that shift from founder to CEO. And it's a big one. It's exciting, messy, and transformative. So we're going to keep all the strengths that make you uniquely you and also evolve your leadership mindset so that you and your company can grow. So before we dive into all of that, I will warn you that's a very interactive workshop. So I am going to have people answering questions in the chat. They're not tough or skill testing questions, but rather just to get to know you, to get you thinking and reflecting, because this is more of a workshop than a lecture. So, without further ado, I'd love to actually hear where you are calling in from today. So, if you could put into the chat your location where you're dialing in from, I'd love to see where people are at today. Toronto, Winnipeg, thanks for being here. Dubai, welcome. Tehran, fantastic. So, this is a global, international, incredible group of people who are making the world a better place. Wow, incredible. Bowmanville, Toronto. Incredible. I'm hailing from Collingwood, Ontario today, which is a town just north of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where we can ski. I'm 8 minutes to the ski hill. Welcome, everyone. Whoever is here is meant to be here. That's something that my yoga teacher says, and it's so, so very true. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for sharing that and continuing to share where you're calling in from. So, this is me. Who would have thought it would be possible for me to be a founder at some point and then turned CEO? I've now been leading my organization for 11 years. I can barely believe it. And I've always been a Toronto Blue Jays fan, and I think there are some of you who might be out there too. Thank you, Carmen. Go Jays, go. Absolutely. So this little girl that you see before you, I mean, she didn't know what was possible, but she had big dreams. And she was creative, she was fun, and she was full of ideas. Maybe this resonates for some of you. And this little girl inside of me, she also had a strong need to do everything all by herself. And I'm wondering if that sounds familiar to anyone out there, that need that you had when you were younger to do everything all by yourself. If yes, yeah, agreed. Some comments in the chat here, if that resonates. So when we have that need, that full of possibilities, that full of ideas, and that need to do everything all by ourselves, that's a beautiful spirit to have, and also can sometimes now as adults get in our way a little bit. There's a need to let go of that control, and that can be challenging. But let's think about our younger selves. I'd like you to put into the chat. Thank you, Morteza. I know. It feels that way with the clenched teeth. When you think of your younger self, I want you to think of what one or two qualities or strengths from that child still drives your leadership today. So think of those strengths that you had and put one or two into the chat. And let's see, what was it about you that's still driving your leadership today? I said for me, it was creative, fun, curious. How about you? And sometimes it takes a moment or two to think about that. And what is it that makes you uniquely you? And I see the comments coming through, so thank you. I'm seeing infinitely curious. Yes, that resonates. Active listener, empathetic. Wow, that's an incredible thing to almost be born with those capabilities and to keep using them today. Um, Put your idea in a test. Entrepreneurial since youth. Yeah, I was that kid at, even university selling the t-shirts, right? For the football games. I get it. Creative freedom. I like to challenge my life, actively and positively engaging, active listen. Keep those strengths coming. And if you don't know, if you haven't thought about that yet, what makes you you and the strengths, I think that's a great reflection question for you to think about. What makes you strong, what makes you you? So here I am now from that child, young Blue Jays fan to adult Blue Jays fan. I'm the CEO of Kirk Leadership and 25 years of management and coaching experience. I use a lot of oil of Olay today. And I have specialization in a lot of different areas of leadership development. So I partner with companies like yours and executives like you to evolve the CEO mindset. And today I now have 15 coaches and facilitators. And I only mention that because I'm so proud of what the child in me was now able to do and continues to do sustainably for the last 11 years doing coaching workshops and retreats. And I'm sure there are a lot of really cool things that you're all doing out there. In fact, I would love for you to go into the chat And tell me the product or service in one word or two, if you can distill it down, what is it that you are leading now? What's your product or service that you're putting out into the world? Mine is leadership development. How about yours? I would love to see. As you put that into the chat, I'll just share with you what the agenda is for our short little time together. Safety in the outdoors. Awesome. Childcare app. Amazing. So good. I'm sure everyone is excited to see what everyone is up to out there across the world. Smart city parking managed by AI. Very, very cool. Thank you, Morteza. Wow, lots of cool stuff I know that's happening out there. Industrial machinery maintenance solutions. Very cool. Okay, so in the short little time that we have, it's never enough because I can go on, but we're going to talk about that founder to CEO shift, the mindset shift, the actions, the behaviors, all of that. We're going to do some leadership self-reflection and actually for you to take a look in the mirror a little bit and think about, what's going well and also where do I need to shift? Three is what do I need to let go of in order to scale up? Fourth is a tool on values-driven empowerment. And then fifth is your leadership growth plan. What I'll actually be doing is creating space for you with some powerful questions. That's what I do as a coach to get you thinking and reflecting. And then for the participants here today, you will also be getting the notes. And we're happy to share that with you. And we got some other products and services into the chat. Industrial, institutional ambassadors, leadership. Yes, app Shopify. Amazing. That's very cool, Mike. Thank you. Okay, everybody. Now we're going to go into the chat. We're going to raise awareness. And this is in the spirit of emotional intelligence, which is a really key area for us as we grow from founder to CEO to build our emotional vocabulary. I like this uh, emotions wheel. It's by Robert Plutchik. And what you do is you start in the middle, and usually we can easily access those one, two, three, four, five, six, seven emotions in the middle of the wheel there that we're feeling bad, fearful, angry, or maybe even happy about the transition from founder to CEO. Pick one that most resonates, and then you can broaden it outwards from that area and that same color to find the nuance of the feeling that actually best describes how you feel in the transition now, moving from founder to CEO. Maybe you're starting the transition, maybe you're well in it, maybe you're thinking about it, or maybe you are a CEO. So do tell me in the chat. How does it feel? Thank you for using the wheel and expanding. And I love that I'm getting more than one answer from folks, which is great because that's so true. It's not just one feeling, it can be many feelings all at the same time. Happy, optimistic, inspired. Thank you for that, Jean-Stéphane. Very cool. Energized, energetic. I love that. Thank you so much. I imagine that some of you out there are also feeling a little bit maybe nervous, maybe as I go around the wheel, maybe a little scared, a little bit, excited, a lot of different feelings that we have about this. So it's all of those things, absolutely. And it can also sometimes feel like this. It can feel like, where once I was a musician, I'm just jamming on my own, to then now being the leader or part of a band, we're having fun and we're jamming and all of that. The creativity, the possibilities, imagining and dreaming. And now all of a sudden, as CEOs, we actually have this pretty weighty responsibility of leading the whole dang thing, of actually being the conductor of the orchestra, which is so exciting, but also can feel a little bit weighty, if you know what I mean. And the research is suggesting, says Corn Fairy, that 71% of us are feeling imposter syndrome. So that imposter-like feeling is like, ooh, do I actually belong? When you think back to that childlike photo of myself. Could she actually be a CEO? In fact, I went to the small and medium-sized enterprise conference recently in Canada, and somebody had the audacity to say to me, "You don't look like a CEO." And I thought, what does a CEO look like? You know what? It looks like me and it looks like you. And what if so many of us feel this imposter syndrome, what if, in fact, we do belong? What if, in fact, we are meant to be CEOs and to just humanize and normalize the experience of questioning that and just wondering and taking on that exciting possibility that maybe that little girl could be this now. Wow. So, some of the challenging aspects of the transition from founder to CEO can be things like relinquishing control. It's a shifting mindset from that doer mentality to that visionary, strategic CEO, the effective delegation that comes with that, as well as managing all the ups and downs, not only for yourself, but also for your team. Now, and so we take a look at some of these predictable stages of growth from founder to CEO. And I'd love for you to go into the chat now and just share with us, are you in stage one, two, three, four, or five, or something in the middle? Let us know in the chat, where are you at in your stage of growth so we know who's in the room with us today. You can take a look at that chart. Is it more startup one, early growth, build and systematize, scale up, or maturity, the strategic CEO? What have we got? Early growth we've got in the room. For me, I'm stage five now. Woo! Maturity, 11 years in. How about you? So take a look at that, and wherever you are at stage one, thank you, Farhad. Very cool, very exciting time, full of ideas and possibilities. Just amazing. And as you think about, your future self, your CEO self, what might be some of the things that you might practice now that are going to help you get there as you go through these stages and transitions? Excellent. Now, when you take a look across the row, you're going to see some, ideas around where we're at and where we need to move into. That fifth one is from driving results personally to creating the conditions where others drive results sustainably. The focus is now on leadership development, clarity of priorities, and maintaining the culture that fuels performance. Thanks everyone for going into the chat and sharing more about all of that. So helpful. I'm excited for all of you in your stages and transitions. So go ahead. I want you to think about this. What is the most challenging aspect of transitioning from founder to CEO for you today? Think about that for a moment. What might that be? And go ahead and put it into the chat. And there's definitely no one answer for this one. We're going to have diversity in thought. Ooh, yes, Morteza, totally. Finding the right people. Yeah, and still being very actively involved in that decision. That is one that I encourage you to be actively involved in for some time into that transition. That is one of the most important decisions we can make. You have to prepare for almost any incident. Not knowing which position is most critical to hire for. Yeah, the unknown. So many things. So keep those coming. This is a great opportunity for self-reflection. Raise awareness and consciousness to what is challenging for me at that time, this time. Okay, what the research is suggesting is that 70%, of scale-ups fail because leadership development lags business growth. And why does it lag? One of the reasons is because 72% of us say that letting go of control is their number one challenge. So just like that little girl who liked to do everything all by herself, now at this point, I have to let other people do things too. And I need to support them and help them grow and coach them to do so. So although they're saying 70% of startups fail, that's boo, that's bad news. You know, I've got mine for 11 years and I talk with and I coach a lot of founders turned CEOs who are successful. So what are they doing? And what are we going to do about it? How are we going to be successful? Well, one of the things I recommend is that this thought of what got you here won't necessarily get you there is really helpful. I want you to keep your strengths. Marshall Goldsmith is a guru in the leadership space. And what he's suggesting is as you see these people paddling in their boat, these are different tools. These are, a different mindset, a different kind of toolkit that was used to get them across the water. But scaling up that mountain, you've got to add to your toolkit. So that's what we're going to be doing today is adding to the toolkit and the mindset. So this matrix has a lot of words on it. We'll be sending this out, but the one, the shift area in column one is from doing to leading, from instinct to systems, from solo to scalable, from gut to data and strategy. And now where I'm focusing in on is from the hustle to the sustainable leadership. And what I highly recommend is you take the time and investment in yourself to grow as a leader. A funny story is actually I was doing a workshop for it was about 40 men in the workshop. Where are my women? Let's go. And in this group of incredible men who were in this workshop, there was one guy who was a little bit more quiet. And I was really encouraging him to share his thoughts because he had gold gems to say. He ended up investing in his coaching with me. And after 1 year of coaching, we became good friends. I saw him uh, found his own company. He's a successful three-time exit guy. He's a CEO, and now he's my husband. So it is possible. And what did he do? He really invested in himself, in his leadership. So one of the things we could do is really invest in our mindset. And by invest, I don't necessarily mean dollars. I mean taking the time for self-reflection. It's creating the space and the capacity to actually invest in your mindset, to do the things that are going to get you from here now to there, to that next chapter. If I haven't built the ROI yet of doing this, here are a few data points for investing in yourself. It's that number one, leaders who strengthen mental fitness improve measurable performance by 30 to 35%. And I only put sources that I believe in and trust as resources here. Companies with more self-aware leaders achieve stronger financial performance. Three, professionals in poor performing companies had 20% more blind spots and were 79% more likely to have low overall self-awareness. So that self-awareness piece is the key that I want you to start thinking more about, both your strengths and your opportunities. And finally, it's emotional intelligence. Here's the thing. So, a lot of companies will hire me to do workshops and coaching in emotional intelligence, and I love that. I mean, I've been doing that for several years, almost as long as Daniel Goleman started to proliferate the concept of emotional intelligence. However, doing emotional intelligence right away and trying to build your capabilities around self-regard, interpersonal relationships, your flexibility while under stress is like taking the blue pill of the matrix. It's like building castles on sand, says Dr. Shazad Shamayan in the space of positive intelligence. What he's saying is you have to build the foundation first of mental resilience, of building your self-awareness, of building up yourself first, and then adding the layers of emotional intelligence. So I'm really excited to bring that to you today. Instead of doing a workshop that I just plunk into Chat GPT and say, how do you make the transition from, founder to CEO, populate a bunch of slides for me? No, I'm going to share with you the stuff that I have seen work for myself around my own mindset and also for my coachees who are founders turned CEO. So it's about the CEO mindset. And this is your ability to command your brain rather than be hijacked by it. And that's what's going to build our confidence and our ability to grow. Can everyone go into the chat and just say yes or no if you've heard about positive intelligence before? It's by Dr. Shazad Shemaine, Stanford MBA, and the picture you see on the slide is a book that he wrote. So, no, great. I love it when I get to introduce something new, and if you have, you can be an ally alongside me here. So, a lot of no's, a lot of new concept. Yeah. So, for me, it's kind of a very forward thinking, very progressive way of thinking. And now more and more organizations are listening to me and realizing in their high potential leadership programming and their coaching that we need this as the starting place to start then later adding on the layers of strategic thinking and influencing all the many things that we need to be successful. Okay, so here's something I want to share with you that's going to feel very humanizing. Can everyone go into the chat for a second? I'm just going to put a line here to separate. Okay. Who here has ever failed? Yes or no in the chat? Thank you, Ortega. Yes. Only because, and I cheer, not because I don't want you to succeed. It's because I don't trust anyone who hasn't failed. Have they stayed in a cave in a little, hiding spot? What's going on? And you know what? The brain is programmed to try to keep us safe and to try to keep us in that little cave, protected. But it's getting out there and trying new things and failing that helps us grow. It helps us actually to turn into a CEO and actually be able to learn and innovate and actually serve our customers and our communities in more meaningful ways. Yuppers. Thank you all. So good. Okay, then I trust you. Here we go. So Dr. Shirzad Shemaine, the author of Positive Intelligence, he was kicked out of his own company that he founded. It was a software company, and he was getting thousands or even millions of dollars invested in this successful company, and he was still kicked out by the board. What happened? Well, here's something that typically happens as our predictable pattern of growth. We have early stage hands on everything. All of a sudden, we get to these decision bottlenecks, and then we have a delegation crisis. It's like, oh, who do I delegate to? Who can I trust on the team? I can't let it go. It's my baby. I created this. And all of a sudden, you get to this place, hopefully, where you start delegating, you start to have more success, and you get to this evolutionary point of inflection where you either become strategic CEO or maybe there's a graceful transition. Maybe you sell the company or maybe you decide to stay on. So I say graceful transition with tongue in cheek because in Dr. Shirzad Shemaine's case, it wasn't exactly a graceful transition. But from his failure came greatness. And here's what happened. He came up with this concept called positive intelligence. And what this means is the PQ percentage is the percent of time your brain works for you versus against you. We want our brains to work more obviously for us versus against us. And what the words on the screen say are sage over saboteur. Sage is the parts of your brain that light up that help us do things like innovation, creativity, problem solving, emotional intelligence, all of those great things. The saboteurs on the denominator side of things, dun dun dun, the saboteurs are those self-sabotaging mental constructs, behaviors, mindsets that get in your way. And kind of the bad news here, people, is that we all have them. So, how do I know this? Well, Dr. Shazad Shemaine decided once he was kicked off the board to do some real intensive research around this. So he actually got some feedback too when he was doing his Stanford MBA, where people said, I feel really judged by you. And he thought to himself, oh, yeah, you should feel judged by me because you're stupid. It's like, oh my gosh. And then somebody else, this woman said, I also feel judged by you. And he was thinking, what? She's so great. Like, what the heck? And she said, I feel judged by you that, like, basically you pedestalize me. You put me on a pedestal and, like, I can't do anything wrong, and therefore making it uncomfortable for me to experiment. And he's like, oh, that's a new twist of judgment. Okay. And he said, maybe I do judge a lot. Now, there's a difference between judgment and discernment. Judgment is more negative. Judgment is judging yourself, judging others, and judging circumstances negatively. Discernment is about having the ability to decipher what's good and what's bad. So we want our brain to be working more for us versus against us. But through factor analysis, through the kind of research that Dr. Shazad did, he got to the root. That's factor analysis. And what he uncovered in the root is that we have 10 saboteurs. And any one of these saboteurs, these negative mental constructs, mindsets, or behaviors show up for us at any point in time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what these 10 are. And I want you to put into the chat when you hear one that is resonating for you, I'm going to get you to put that into the chat just so we can humanize the experience. And if you're listening after the session was done, I want you to write down which saboteurs are showing up for you now. I've put three down here because they do happen to be mine. Everybody has the judge. It's going to show up loud or quieter at different times. And then there's also the controller saboteur, which means I'm trying to hang on to everything. That little girl who still wants to do everything by herself instead of delegating. And then there's a hyperachiever saboteur I've got in me who's very loud. And that hyperachiever really wants external validation. Apparently, I didn't get enough recognition growing up as a child, so I sought it. I sought it out from the external environment in school and companies, etc. So these are ones that show up for me really, really loud. What's showing up for you? The judge, again, is the main one. He's the main recruiter. Across the gender continuum to she, is the main recruiter out there who is keeping you up at night, who's judging you, who's saying, you shouldn't have made that mistake, or what's wrong with that person, or my life sucks, that kind of thing. That's the judge. The judge then recruits these nine other accomplice saboteurs. Oh man, and we've all got them. But which one is showing up for you louder than the others today? Okay, so you're going to be putting into the chat as I describe them which one is showing up for you. The controller saboteur is the one you can see the image on the screen. The controller is just like that with the puppet master. It's like if I don't control the situation is going to control me. The controller, the lie of the saboteur, the lie is telling me that nobody does this better than me. I should not delegate this or anything. So controlling as much as I can. So if that resonates for you, go ahead and put controller into the chat. This is the number one saboteur that's impacting our transition from founder to CEO, folks. This is the one. The next one is hyperachiever. This one is counting on external validation to a fault. This is taking the strength that we had as successful human beings all the way along and over clicking on this need for external validation at all costs, potentially leaving some dead bodies along the way. So external validation is hyperachiever. If that one resonates for you, you can go ahead and put that in the chat. Next one is the restless saboteur. And you're going to have more than one. The restless saboteur is like the one who says hashtag FOMO, fear of missing out. Always being busy, like busyness is coolness. Um, Difficulty being present. The lie is if I'm not busy, I'm not doing enough. The stickler saboteur. The stickler is the perfectionist. The lie that this saboteur is telling you is that if it's not going to be perfect, don't do it at all. It's kind of going right against the innovator mindset of prototyping, testing, experimenting, iterating on your prototypes. Fail sooner to achieve, more sustainably. The stickler gets in the way with perfectionism. Okay. The pleaser saboteur. The pleaser saboteur is like please others, serve others at the cost of myself. So it's always what would serve others. That's the lie that if I don't continuously serve others and if I'm not super nice and super kind all of the time, they're not going to like me. They're not going to follow me as a leader. That's a lie. The hypervigilant saboteur is the one who's always looking out for risk. And I have a lot of leaders who are in the space of quality assurance, for example, or needing to look left and right to make sure that, what they're doing, their product, their service is going to be safe enough for the world. Absolutely, that's a great strength to have. But if you over click on that strength, what tends to happen is this lie that nothing is safe, that you can never move forward because you constantly have to be looking out for the risks, and it's going to prevent you from actually seeing the opportunities and taking that step out into the wild. So that's hyper vigilant. Okay, the next one is the avoider saboteur. You see the bag over the head, and the avoider saboteur, I always think of Legoland with this, and I have a terrible singing voice, but it's kind of like everything is awesome, where you're just avoiding the difficult stuff. You're avoiding the tough conversations. You're avoiding making the tough decisions in your business. You're avoiding conflict. And maybe having your mindset go to, no, 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 everything's okay, everything's okay. But you know what? As you rise, you're going to have to minimize this saboteur, the avoider saboteur. Okay. Then we have the victim saboteur. This one is like, if something bad's going to happen, it's going to happen to me. I am a victim. I'm a victim of the business. I'm a victim of circumstance. Of course, this happened. And I had somebody in my family actually say just the other day, everything is going wrong for me. And that's the victim saboteur. Because once we start saying things like that, we attract those negative things to happen. So we've got to quieten the victim saboteur, identify it, quieten it, and turn to what actually is possible. And finally, we've got the hyper rational saboteur. So the hyper rational is all about facts and logic at all costs. But I'll tell you what, our customers buy largely based on their feelings. And that's why I do work in the space of feelings and emotions, because we are made up of feelings and emotions. The things we do are based on feelings and emotions. So if we're discarding how we feel or how our teams feel, etc., we're not going to build sustainably. We're not going to build the leadership. We're going to be overly reliant on the logic and the facts. Don't discard logic and facts. Keep that, but not to a fault. So if you are seeing a saboteur that's coming up for you, go ahead and put that in the chat. Everyone should see them. And if you don't see them, that's when I worry. That's when I worry that they are creepy crawly in your mind and, and you're not seeing them. But let's see who is able to see your saboteurs. Mine, hyperachiever, controller, pleaser. Everybody come on in there, even the organizers of this meeting, if you'd like to go in and just be real, be human about this. We've all got them. Thank you so much, folks. I'm seeing them coming through. Stickler, that's the perfectionist tendency. Hypervigilant, looking left and right. Absolutely, Andy. Thank you for that. Yeah, we want it's coming from the right place, the right intention, right? And then when we don't double click on it to a fault, then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I spent so much time in the space of risk that it's like actually hurting the brain and could actually hurt the team in our organization. Hyper rational and restless. Yes. First four, thank you. Wow. Great self-awareness, folks. I'm so excited for you to see them. It's funny. There is an assessment tool that I use when I coach with people where you can actually see where yours are. It's a 5-minute assessment tool anyway. And I basically have all of them. And I work on it. I work on it. And that's where I feel like I have a place to voice this and a reason for me to be a speaker is because it wasn't easy for me. Yes, that little girl looked quite happy that you saw in the image of me, but she had to work hard to overcome a lot of the mental constructs that were holding me back. The restless saboteur. Okay, great. And what I'm going to share with you, when you say I am X, in fact, in fact, you are not your saboteur. This is a very empowering moment, everybody. You are not your saboteur. Your saboteur is a mental construct that's just lying to you in order to keep you safe and small, as the brain does. But you are not it. So when I used to say I'm a people pleaser, now I'm not a people pleaser. I'm a kind, caring, thoughtful, awesome human being who sometimes will double click on that to a fault. And when I overuse and abuse my kindness, all of a sudden the pleaser saboteur gets in the way of me making sure that I'm going to be okay, that I'm doing the self-care instead of what would serve others all the time. Hey, what would serve me? What do I want? Put that back on your radar to ask. And when you take care of yourself, you're actually going to be so much better a leader. So you are not your saboteur. Okay. So thank you for doing that leadership self-reflection to think about that. And also, I want you to think about how it might be impacting your leadership. What might be a leadership activity that your saboteur or saboteurs, not you, but the mental construct might be getting in the way of? Is it delegation? Is it self-care? What is your saboteur getting in the way of? And I'd like for you to kindly put that into the chat. Let's see what comes up. Organizers as well as the participants. How might your saboteur be impacting your leadership? I have to say, I don't think it stopped me from doing something wrong to press on others. Yeah. Limits my collaboration. Yeah. Trying to do everything myself. Oh my goodness. I understand that. I understand that. It takes a lot of intentionality for me to let go. And I'll be sharing some tools that will help you take baby steps towards that. It's tough to go from zero to hero on the delegation front. So I want to help you to be able to do that, worrying about every detail. Yeah, absolutely. These are, it's like our baby, what we've created. It's so meaningful and special. And to grow, we're going to have to let go. Not let go completely, by the way. It's so exciting, the CEO role. I am starting to really love it, by the way, but it was only because I did my work. So I did a positive intelligence program with Dr. Shazad Shemaine, and I went through it, and I popped out the same person, but better. And so hopefully some of these concepts here today are going to help you do that too. And what's so exciting about it is this concept of neuroplasticity. Who here has heard of neuroplasticity before? Yes or no in the chat. It's this, yes, yes, wonderful. So many of you out there already know that the brain can evolve, that we can change our neural pathways. And there was a little boy on social media. I watched this video over and over again, and he said, you get very, very good at whatever you practice. If you practice holding all the control, if you practice always pleasing others to the detriment of yourself, if you practice being so, the hypervigilance, you will get very good at it. So be very careful about what you choose to practice because you will get very, very good at it. If you practice delegation, you will get good at it. If you practice self-care, you will get good at it. So, in the research around positive intelligence, apparently, you see the neuron firing? Well, apparently, we can intercept this neuron from going down the negative route, we can intercept it at that tipping point to actually go down the positive route, to light up the areas of the brain we talked about before that spark innovation, creativity, empathy, self-care, all of the important things of increasing our leadership. So here's what we do. It's something called a PQ rep. Some of you have a meditation practice. Amazing. If you can't get to that right now, it's not a priority in your head. You can get to it, by the way. You can absolutely make meditation a priority. But if you want something that's more accessible, how about a 10-second PQ rep? A PQ rep is just this. PQ meaning positive intelligence. And a rep is like, like a finger rep. So we're going to take our pointer finger and our thumb, and everyone's going to do it right now. And you're going to put these two together if that's accessible to you. If it isn't, you can put your hands in your palm, or you can focus on one thing in your environment and just notice that thing. So right now, what we're going to do, this one, is to rub these two fingers together, and I'm going to breathe. You know what? For this presentation, I could have used this. I could have been breathing more. I got to admit. So I'm going to breathe in and I'm going to breathe out. And I'm going to take my thoughts from the outer world, this monkey mind that I have, and I'm going to bring my attention into the sensory somatic, which is my fingertips at this time. And I'm going to notice the ridges on my fingertips as I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out. And all my attention is right here for 10 seconds as I inhale and exhale 3 times. So let's just do that. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm just going to breathe in and breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I'm going to let my shoulders down and breathe in and breathe out. That, my friends, quite simply, is a PQ rep. I'd like you to go into the chat and just tell me how that feels. How does that feel to do 10 seconds of breath work? Thank you, Marteza. More relaxed. The shoulders come down. The heart rate regulates. All of a sudden, I can use more of my brain instead of the knee-jerk fight or flight response that many of us know about, that amygdala hijack that goes boom, send that fiery email. I shout or I do the thing that I didn't want to do. I make decisions that I regret. Instead of that, we calm the brain down in order to be able to have the neuron float down the positive pathway. I feel relieved, relaxed, and open to the world. This is gorgeous. Imagine putting this 10-second PQ rep in your day. Imagine from bed opening up your eyes and doing a PQ rep. Imagine as you brush your teeth to just shut your eyes and breathe in and out 3 times. Imagine before a tough meeting doing a PQ rep. Maybe during the meeting. You don't have to show everyone you're doing this. You can do it below, or you can just breathe. Imagine the possibilities. So, we will be sharing this information with you. It's a lot to share in this, but these are the 5 sage powers. Remember, we saw the slide that said sage over saboteurs, the sage powers of the brain. These are the 5. Very quickly, instead of letting your saboteurs get in the way, what you want to do is identify them and say, not today, not today, pleaser or controller or not today. I see you. Yay, I found you. I'm going to do a PQ rep and I'm going to choose one of these 5 things to do instead. And that's going to help my mindset. And this translates to help you with your leadership. The 5 here are to empathize. Now that I'm ready, now I've got the relaxation to do this. I can empathize with both myself and or the person I'm meeting with. When I feel triggered, I start beating myself up. My judge gets loud. Instead, I'm going to think of myself as that little girl. I found that picture because of the work that I did on myself in positive intelligence. I started to think about her and what she deserves. Should I be yelling at her or saying, "Oh, stupid, why'd you make the mistake?" Or should I say, "Oh, good for you for doing that and for learning and for growing." Empathize with yourself, and you can use that to help you empathize with others as you get tense or stressed as well. Second one is to explore. When you have a challenge ahead of you, like Dr. Shirzad had when he was kicked off his own board, what he learned was to explore that challenge with curiosity instead of judgment. Innovate power is about reframing that challenge of being fired into a gift or opportunity. And if you leave with one thing today, it will be to say, in this challenge, what is the gift? The fourth one is when you don't know and your decision is a tough one, I want you to navigate that decision with your compass. And but what I mean by that is, your north, south, east, and west compass are your values. Go back to your values and connect yourselves, connect your people to the values, and navigate your decisions with that compass. And finally, is activate. Take that first step forward and learn and grow from it. And if you don't know what that first step is, what I want you to do is do a PQ rep. Go back to that. All right, folks, I know we're nearing our time. What I will say is that in the notes that we have some tools here for effectively delegating and for trusting and leading with greater values. I'll share a few things. One is this: delegating. Ask yourself when you need to let go. You've identified the controller saboteur or the thing that's getting in your way. You're going to do a PQ rep, breathe through it, and then you're going to act. And the act is maybe creating this plus sign with tasks I'll let go of and areas I'll leave. If the task really does require your special sauce, your area of genius, then do it. If it's something that you could let go of, start to identify those. What is one thing that you think you need to let go of today? Go ahead and put that in the chat. For me, I need to let go of being the facilitator for all of the programs. I have a team of 15 people who are amazing facilitators and coaches. And sometimes I could be there, sometimes I don't need to be there. I need to let go of being in every room, in every meeting, in every facilitation. I need to let go of that. What do you need to let go of, everybody? What's one thing? Just identifying that today would be a powerful shift in your mindset to transition from founder to CEO. What is the one thing? Yeah. Some of the recruitment. I still encourage you to be part of recruitment to an extent. It depends how mature your company is. But what stage do you need to be involved in? Maybe other people could do the sourcing. Maybe people could do some of the interviewing first before you get involved. You can trust your people. Once you have picked really good people to do these kinds of things, great. So thank you. Trying to accomplish all future steps all at once. I love that. It's like the Marshall Goldsmith, what got you here won't necessarily get you there. And a lot of people, not us, but a lot of people give up because they don't want to put in the work. They don't want to make the mindset shift. They don't want to take the steps. They don't want to do the peaky rep. They don't want to do the practice. But it takes practice. It takes one step forward, one step after another to get to the peak of that mountain. And we're doing it. If you're here, it's because you are doing it. Great. I need to let go of stress I have when things go out of control. It's about managing the stress, isn't it? It's about breathing through it. Absolutely. So good. So, this trust ladder is one of the tools that I would give to you in the notes today. It's the concept of thinking about, what level of delegation can I do at this time? It's baby steps, maybe you start with one, I'll do it, but observe me, shadow me, watch me do it. Maybe it's number two of, going a little deeper there of let's do it together. And more giving them the autonomy, giving them the space to do it. Three is you do it and I can advise. We can debrief. Four is you own it and then just inform me how it went, kind of thing. Inform me how that, the challenges, the opportunities there. And five is you own it fully. Wow, it's amazing when you can get to that space and really be able to trust your team. But sometimes it's a baby step. So see what baby step might be helpful to you at this time in your context and where you're at. This is my quote around empowerment. Empowerment isn't giving up power, it's multiplying it through trust, clarity, and shared values. So, leaving you with some thoughts around values, for me, these three are really key. It's around clarity, autonomy, and feedback. I think that as we make this transition, the more clear we can be, the more successful not only we, but our companies will be. So, we want to define what that success looks like, give freedom over how the work is done for that autonomy, and then feedback is key. So, for your final part of the agenda today, it's the leadership growth plan, and it's just these three questions that I'd like you to think about and take away for your plan. It's what might you do to support your mindset? Is it that you're going to do a PQ rep when you wake up before a meeting and after? Is it that you're going to put self care back on the agenda? Is it going to be that you think about what you could let go of, which is the second one? What do you need to let go of? That's going to help you in your mindset as well. Imagine the capacity that that's going to create. Imagine the gift of letting go. Saying no to something means saying yes to even more important things. And finally, what do you need to adopt? What practices do you need to add or tools to your toolkit to support you? I wish everyone great success and the mindset to keep going using positive intelligence, PQ reps, and you're here because you were meant to be here. So keep going. And thank you. Thank you for making the world a better place. Over to the team.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joanna. That was an absolutely wonderful presentation. In a second here, we're going to be launching a quick poll. So if you can take the time to answer it for us, that would be amazing. It should pop up here any second. Amazing. Thank you so much. What a fantastic workshop this was, especially during Small Business Week. These kinds of topics and conversations are super important, especially when it comes to your personal growth and growing your business. So, Joanna, thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful. And thank you, everybody, for your engagement during the workshop. It was amazing to see everybody do that little exercise there on the screen. So, again, thank you everybody for joining us today. We encourage you to stay connected with us. So feel free to connect with us on our socials. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And we also have a YouTube channel where we'll be sharing the recording. The slide deck will also be shared over email today. So keep an eye out for that. And we look forward to staying engaged and seeing you throughout the rest of Small Business Week and other events that are coming up. So, again, our deepest gratitude to Joanna today. And thank you, everybody, for joining today. We greatly appreciate it. And I hope everyone has a great rest of your Small Business Week. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.